I recently made some improvements and some upgrades to the Fun Finder 16-foot camper. So let me show you what we did. So first thing is we replaced the hand crank with a power winch. So you have a power lift now. Much easier than using the crank. Very important, we replace the batteries and put in 2 batteries in place of 1. Now normally the battery mounts here, but there's not enough room for 2 batteries, especially 100 amp large batteries. So what we did is we cut a piece of pressure treated lumber and cut it to fit right here with just enough room to put the batteries in place. They're mounted on top, but when you do that, the propane tanks are just a little bit too far back. So remove those, re-drilled the holes, and pulled the propane tanks forward a few inches. That gave enough room for the batteries. Right, so there's 2 batteries. The batteries are connected in parallel. Right, so there's 2 batteries in battery boxes. The battery boxes are simply mounted right to the pressure treated lumber, and it's all bolted in. Now we have 2 cables. These are like welding cables. They're number 4 gauge wire, rubberized, which is really nice if you use the rubberized because they're a little bit flexible. Makes it a little bit easier to run. This then runs under the chassis all the way underneath, and then there's a entrance hole where the other wires are, and that brings it up into the inside, into the console, and I'll show you where that is in a minute. The other outside improvement is adding a backup camera. So handy when you're backing up the trailer to be able to see behind you. So there's the backup camera, and the backup camera that we chose runs on Wi-Fi. It's called ad hoc Wi-Fi. So that's mounted right on the roof, and then the wire for it is on clamps, a few dollops of RTV here and there to make sure that the wire stays in place, and then the wire runs underneath the entrance for the antenna, for the TV, or I should say the radio antenna. Right, so that's actually pretty secure because we have these clamps holding it down, as well as a little dollops of RDP, caulking compound, if you will. Right, so let's take a look inside. What are the modifications we made? All right, so we updated the electronics a little bit. By the way, the power cable enters under here, and then you snake it up, and we bring it up to here. Now, this comes with 2 panels, right? The factory configuration is 2 panels with an old dated CD player stereo right here, and then a mirror right here. Behind the mirror is nothing, so it's kind of empty space, sort of wasted space. So the 2 welding cables from the batteries, which are charged by solar as well as by a battery charger, are presented to the back of this 2,000 watt power inverter. The power inverter is terrific because if you don't have a hookup, it's great to have 110 volt AC power. Now this is 2,000 watts. Could have gotten less, could have gotten more, and it's about the same size. So a 3,000 watt just costs more. This cost about $200, I believe. So great to be able to plug in a hair dryer or accessories, or if you're off grid, you can actually plug in your TV or anything else you want to run. Right? So you also have a new stereo. Let's turn that on. The stereo cost about $25, right? Not very expensive nowadays to put in a nice stereo. Cut a hole in the plexiglass. So this, by the way, this panel is 1/4 inch plexiglass, and we painted the back of the plexiglass black, give it this nice look. So it's not painted on the front, so no chipping. I don't have to worry about fingerprints. You know, it wipes down really, really nice. Also included some switches. So this turns on the backup camera, outside speakers, and inside speakers. So those are the main improvements that we've done so far, and goes a long way to update the 16-foot camper.